God bless, brothers and sisters. What another beautiful, beautiful day to worship the Lord, my master, in the beauty of holiness. God's timing is the best. By His grace and His mercy, I'm able to share this message to those whose hearts are open, to those who have questions, to those who lack wisdom, to those who don't understand certain things about my God. As you can see in the title, many don't know the truth. This is why these messages are important. This is why my master gave me the grace to share these words that he has given me, so people's eyes can be open. People can have understanding and be made aware of the truth. This is not to look down on anyone. I have not been sent here to judge anyone, but to speak forth the truth and righteousness. The title says, many don't know the true God of Israel. Many that claim to be Christians don't either. This is why other religions believe in their gods and accept what takes place in their lives. Let me give you wisdom. What the title and the message is saying is that when you look at people who believe and worship in these false gods, they believe that their gods is the true God, capital G, the creator, the Alpha, the Omega, the Father. They believe that they're serving that God because there's only one. So just because they believe that Buddha or Hindu or Allah or whoever they're claiming to worship or believing, there's only one true one, right? So they're still claiming that that's who they're serving, but they're deceived. Let me give you wisdom. Many claim to be wise, but they are foolish. Being wise is to know God. Having understanding, having intelligence is to be wise, to know God, to understand who He is. Many are searching and searching and searching. They don't have wisdom. Many are looking. They don't have wisdom. The Bible says that the Spirit, when we receive the Holy Spirit, that it will teach us all things and bring all things to our remembrance, whatsoever He hath spoken to the disciples, to the apostles. Whatever the Lord has spoke on this earth, spoke from heaven through prophets or spoke from heaven through angels, will be taught those things, right? Because I wasn't born when He walked this earth, right? But I never been to a Bible college, never been up under a preacher or a teacher or anybody. But what I learned came from the Holy Spirit, because the Spirit which is in me that came from my master was before there was a Bible, was before there was 10 Commandments, was before the foundation of the world. So that Spirit enters a genuine believer. We receive a download. We receive wisdom, intelligence, knowledge. We don't have to go through these theology schools and whatever these places that people go to, because the Spirit, which is spiritual, which is supernatural, gives us wisdom. The same way that people will cut on their computer or their cell phone and download certain apps to be able to make their phone functionable according to the app that they're using. So the Spirit enters true believers and makes us functionable, to be spiritual, to be obedient, to be able to serve the living and true God. So You look behind me. There's a sun in the sky. There it go. See that sun? I would never settle being in one of those religions, because those false religions, whether it's Islam, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Hinduism, these are all false religions, right? They don't even speak of a savior. They believe that whatever they go through is what they're supposed to go through. I would never settle for that. You look at that sun up there. It rises and sets every day perfectly. You look at the creations of this world, the trees that's behind me, the grass that's on the ground. Look how beautiful, look how lush. But you got something is wrong with your skin, or something is wrong. You got eczema, or you got this, or you got that. All these different challenges that you have. But you look at what is coming out of the earth, something that's not being maintained daily. You're not seeing trees wash their leaves daily like you wash your face daily. You're not seeing animals brush their teeth daily, but their teeth are still white. If you ever capture an animal, people that hunt, they might have captured a wolf or captured certain animals. Their teeth are white. You ever seen a fish that has human teeth, a sheephead? Their teeth are white. They're not using toothpaste. So who is controlling these things to make them be as they are? That's who I want to serve. So those who are serving these false gods and believing that what they're going through is what they're supposed to be going through, and to accept what it is that's taking place in their life, I will never be them. And I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just speaking truth, and I'm speaking facts. The Creator, God, my Father, right? My Master, Jesus, created this world, controls the functions, the system of this world. That wind blows, rain comes, the seasons change, grass grows, trees grows. They're beautiful, they're lush. They're not being maintained by human hands. They're being maintained by God's hands. So that power that keeps these things functioning perfectly, keeping them beautiful, strong, healthy, I want that same power over my life. But that only God is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, the God of Israel. That's the only God that can do that. Buddha don't teach that. Hinduism don't teach that. Islam don't teach that. They tell you that what you go through is just natural. I will never settle singing all this power in the world, controlling, keeping, protecting these things by God. I will never settle worshiping a statue as Buddha. I will never settle praising Allah. Never. Because they don't have anything to offer. And I know that whoever made this world has to be powerful, mighty, and strong, and have everything together. That God. And that's the God that I serve. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the God of Israel. That's who I serve. A God that is able to protect, to provide, to give wisdom, to give guidance, to keep my health at 100%. No sicknesses, no colds, no this, no that, no challenges. The same way you can't stop trees from growing. The same way you can't stop grass from growing. The same way you can't stop the fresh water that flows all into the ocean. We have never had a shortage of water on earth run into the oceans. The oceans are being filled with fresh water, but they never overflow. We are sitting in outer space right now, just rotating on this axis. We're surrounded by darkness, right? Outer space is dark. There's no oxygen. Astronauts prove that. But we're in this world that constantly has air not being pumped by tubes or pumps. We have fresh water that flows and runs to the ocean, but never have water ever been scarce upon the earth. There might be countries, certain places in certain areas in the world where water might not be as reachable as other places. But as far as 7 continents in the foundation of this world, water has always been on this earth, just like oxygen. So who is giving us that oxygen perfectly? Because when you went to sleep, what did you breathe? And when you woke up, what did you breathe? When you go swim in the water and you come out that water, what do you breathe? Oxygen. Well, who's giving it to us perfectly every day? That's who you should be wanting to serve. Okay, now let's go a little further. People think that us Christians are just believing in this man that was created by white man and created by this and created by that. Y'all foolish. Let me just give you a glimpse of what life is like being genuinely baptized with the Holy Spirit and being led by God. Let me just give you a little glimpse on what that's like. Not only do my master give us his Holy Spirit, our steps are ordered by him and we delighteth in our way, right? There's peace that he sends in the midst of chaos. He showed you that when he was asleep on the boat and it was a storm outside and everyone else was worried and afraid, but he knew his assignment and he knew what he had to go through and he knew where he was going. So those things, fear, didn't live inside of him because he wasn't given a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So he had peace. So we received, just imagine this big guy in the sky sitting on a big old throne, surrounded by angels and heavenly citizens. Once he sees you fit and sees you worthy, just imagine like a rainbow. You know, just imagine like rectangular, just coming down. And it just enters your head and just goes all into your body. You receive the Holy Spirit. Now, once you receive that spirit fills you. It takes over this flesh. And it transforms you and changes you to be a child of God. Gives you power. So when a person comes to me and they say, I'm sent by God, and the Holy Spirit, which is like a bloodhound, a detective, one of those German Shepherd dogs, can sniff out and say that person is not sent from where I'm sent, right? How did Peter know that Ananias was lying to him? Ananias came and lied about what he sold. No man knew that he lied, but who knew? God. So everyone that's claiming to be Christians and all these religious folks, how are you getting deceived? When the one who sees all and knows all and is above all, how are you getting tricked by somebody? How are you getting deceived by somebody if God is with you, brothers and sisters, other religions, those who portray to be Christians? We don't be deceived. The Bible say, be not deceived, be not mocked. God is not mocked. It says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. That's a command. So when y'all sitting here saying I was up under a pastor or a preacher or a person, God is not with you. Because God will never let his child be shamed by the devil. Satan had to come ask permission with Job. And that was only for our learning. The Bible says in the book of Romans that for whatsoever was written aforetime was written for our learning, that we through patience in scripture, in public scripture, might have hope. So listen, a woman can come to me and say, hey, I'm interested in learning about God. God will tell me, right? And I will see the spirit of lust that is in that woman. She might come dressed up, fully clothed. No breast showing, no bottom showing, no nothing. The average person wouldn't know. They wouldn't see the strategy. Let me give you wisdom. Maybe she's just coming because of what she's seeing is intriguing to her. But because she has lust inside of her, Satan's going to use that. For instance, let me give you wisdom. Let's go to the story of Joseph, who became the governor of Egypt. I mean, Jacob's son that he had by who? Rachel, right? Who had the coat of many colors. Beautiful. He loved Jacob. He loved Joseph. Jacob loved Joseph. Now, when Joseph, see, God promoted him from where he was at and placed him as the head over Potiphar's house, captain of Pharaoh's army, right? So naturally, when he got there, the wife had no interest in him. But because the wife was promiscuous and moved about in mischief, and she had lust, Satan seen an opportunity that he can use to try to get Joseph to sin against God, and also get the wife to put an end to God exalting him and having favor over his life, right? So naturally, the wife wasn't there when Joseph was thrown into the dry pit. The wife was nowhere around, didn't know anything about Joseph. The Ishmaelites came, and Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. When they sold him into slavery, naturally the slave masters come and look at all the young men that can work. See if they got muscles, if they're strong, if they're intelligent, then they'll choose them. So Potiphar's wife didn't know anything about Joseph. But as time was going by, he was different than the other slaves because my master was with him. People noticed that. His intelligence, the way he did things, the way he problem solved, the way he figured out things, the wisdom that he possessed, it was different than the other slaves. So naturally, everyone at Potiphar's house took notice to him and said, this guy is different. He's unique. Not understanding the goodness of God in his life, but noticing that he was different. He was special as they perceived. So naturally, the wife took notice of these things. And then this is where the spirit of lust and seduction and the wife tried to move to cause Joseph to sleep with her. But Joseph's time was coming to an end, being a slave at Potiphar's house. So God didn't stop the wife making advances, because it was only going to show Satan that Joseph wasn't going to compromise, and he wasn't going to bend nor break in his faith and belief towards God. So God didn't stop the woman. It was his time to go. The time was coming for him to be exalted, to become the second most powerful in Egypt. So God allowed the wife to try to provoke, and to tempt him, knowing that his servant was strong. So she tried. Nothing happened. Right? He ran out of there. And she had her clothes. People seen her run out there naked. So she knows she had to come up with some type of lie. And this is where, remember, he was supposed to die from doing that. A slave trying to rape Egyptian wife. He's supposed to die. But because of the grace of God, Papa put him in prison. Only for a few years. And then became the second most powerful in Egypt. So you understand that with the Holy Spirit, I gave you that story to show you that the difference between those who are spiritual Christians, filled with the Spirit, we don't get deceived. We're prepared before our ministry even comes to place, before God even exalts a servant of God. We are already prepared for those who are going to come in the future with deceit, manipulation, ulterior motives, everything. We're already prepared. But because everyone needs an opportunity and a chance, we have to endure, but not being deceived. This is where the rebukes and the chastisement and the correction comes from. We're not deceived. So the difference between one who is spiritual and one who is religious is that you're constantly getting deceived. And that makes you have resentment, bitterness, frustration, and anger It makes you look at God in a bad light. God, why is this happening to me? Oh, I was around this pastor. I was around this person and, I didn't know. The Bible said that God's not the author of confusion, but of peace. When was any believer in the Bible deceived? Even Jesus told Peter, he said that Satan has asked to shift you all like wheat. So they were even told that Satan was trying to come and destroy them. But I have prayed that none of y'all should be lost. When were they deceived? When were they confused? When were they confused? Even when they came to arrest my master, Jesus, what did he say? This is the hour of what? That's right. He didn't say, oh, these people are just mad at me. They're angry at me. I don't know what's going on. The Lord kept telling everybody, I must go to Jerusalem. The Son of Man is going to face this and going to face that. Even Paul said, they were all crying for Paul, saying, no, Paul, don't go to Jerusalem. Paul said, listen, I must go through what I have to go through. Even Peter, he said, listen, my time is coming to an end. I must put off this tabernacle as the Lord has showed me. There was no one in the Bible, even Elijah, when it was time for him to go up to heaven, he knew. He kept telling Elijah to test him. He said, stay here, tarry here, and wait for me as I go on before you. Elijah says, no. Elijah said, no, I'm coming with you. So even Elijah knew when he was going up. Even Paul. Paul said, my time for departure is near. They were aware. God never leaves his children confused. Even before persecution comes to Brother Ronald, I know that it's going to come. Sometimes people persecute me. You know what God says? It's to build your endurance. I allowed it to happen. I didn't stop the demons that's in that person. I didn't stop the demons that's in that person portraying to be whatever they're portraying to be. I allowed it to happen to build your endurance. So in the future, my child, when persecution and trouble rise on every side, you'll become numb to it. So he'll allow these things to come to me. People calling me false this, false that, calling me names. And I have only lifted up one name on this Facebook since 2015. The only name I have ever glorified, the only name I've ever lifted up is Jesus Christ. The only one who I serve is God. The only one that I worship is Jesus. So when people speak negative about me, the Bible already said that the way of truth will be evil spoken of. Satan hates righteousness. I'm not speaking and judging and saying anything about anybody. I'm speaking Bible. Search the scriptures and see if I'm speaking contrary to the truth. What I'm telling you is this, that John said that you have an unction and you know all things. That's in the 1 John. Now, so a believer, when you're sitting here saying that Allah, Buddha, Hinduism, and all these false gods are gods, you are deceived. I'm not just serving God because I'm just serving God. He protects me. He provides for me. He does everything for me. Look at my health. Look at my strength. I've been shot 13 times. I got 10% of my stomach to this day, but I weigh 170. I didn't even weigh 170 when I was in the world. I was like 150. Look at my health. I had allergies before. I had high blood pressure. I had all these problems. Look today. I don't have no medical insurance. I don't have no dental insurance. I don't have any of those things. Look today and see the goodness of God in my life. The Bible said that that God preserved Moses. He was still as strong as when he was 20 years old. He looked as healthy and strong as he did in his 40s. God has that power. The same way this tree can go for 100 years and look the same. Think about it, brothers and sisters. Why doesn't a tree form change over years? That tree right there, I don't know. Look at this tree. Look at this big old tree. Look at that tall old tree right there that I'm pointing at right there. Look how tall it is. You see it? Look at that tree right there. that tree gonna be that way 10 years from now. It ain't gonna change. So whoever's controlling that by their power, which is my God, I want that power over me. Now you wonder why he can preserve. Sarah was her youth was preserved. Abraham's wife. Read the Bible. So when people talk about, oh, why are you worshiping God? See, I'm not worshiping the God that's been portrayed to this world in the last 2,000 years from my master walking this earth and the apostles, and how the gospel's been watered down and things been omitted and taken out of and different things. I'm not serving that false God. I'm serving the true God that created this world. People say, oh, man wrote the Bible. You're foolish. There's no continent that obeys the word of God. There's no man, there's no person that walked this earth besides Jesus that obeyed that word. No man. Not Martin Luther King, not Malcolm X, not nobody obeyed that word truthfully but Jesus. The only one. Maybe people had their own beliefs, had their own views. Only person that obeyed that word, Jesus. And in the Bible, let me tell you something that's so powerful. You know that it came from God because it shows everybody mistakes and flaws. Why would a person write about themselves, expressing their wrongs and what they did? Who knew that David slept with Bathsheba? He was a king. Who was in the king courts to know that he slept with Bathsheba? Who would have known that? Who was there? So who was on the mountain when Moses was with God? Because Moses wasn't writing anything. Abraham never wrote anything. So how do we know that Abraham did things that he did? Who was writing back then? I gotta pay attention. Right? Listen to me. When Gabriel visited Mary, who wrote that down? Because Mary didn't write it. Look at the way it's written. So who was writing those things down? You sure man wrote the Bible, brothers and sisters? Because look at the stories. How did things happen and be written down? I'm talking about actual things that happened. Not stories. Somebody, oh, this is what happened to me. No, this is like, hey, Job was in his house. Who wrote that Job's children died? Job didn't write that. Who wrote those things? God. Righteousness is not accepted in this world. Matter of fact, it's rejected. God forces man to print those Bibles. Man don't want to print those Bibles. They don't even obey it. God's in control. So God wrote the Bible. Ain't no man on this earth obeying those words. No country, no nation. There's wars, there's violence, there's raping, there's murders, there's killings, there's deceit. Look at the president inaugurations. They get dirty on each other. They argue, they fight, they debate. The Bible says clearly not to debate. Not to have envy and strife. Not to quarrel. So what person that came on this earth, whether it was a white man, black man, green man, was righteous? Who? Because I only know one. Jesus. He's the only one still in the word. So when they sit here and talk about these things, they're foolish. Everyone that I have ever heard to come against God's word were people that agree with sin. I have never met one person since I've been embarking on this journey, right? Since 2013, have ever been righteously speaking and saying that God's word is not true. Even those who are law-abiding, who might not believe in God, they'll still say, yeah, but, you know, that's a good thing in the Bible. You shouldn't commit adultery. You shouldn't steal. Yeah, you shouldn't lie. And they don't even believe in God. But they're somewhat law-abiding to man's rules. And they agree with things. Everyone agree with things in the Bible. Even Islam. The Quran was written 600 years after the Bible. So they took from our Bible. How do you take from our Bible and then debunk our Lord and Savior? Without our Bible, there'll be no Islam. Come on, brothers and sisters. You got to be wise. You know Satan is tricky. You know he knows how powerful the truth is. He was up there. He was in heaven. His name was Lucifer. Read Ezekiel and Isaiah. They break it down. He was on the mountain of God. He was a powerful angel amongst other powerful angels. He knows how powerful the word is. The Bible tells you in Hebrews that the word of God is what? Quick, sharp, and powerful. What does it tell you? So that's why you don't see commercials about Jesus. You don't see things being spoken about Jesus. Apart from those who portray to be Christians. The world don't want anything to do with Jesus because those words are just they're too true. So listen, back to the statement, the topic that the Lord allowed me to place up here for his glory. The God that I serve not only warns me when people are being deceiving, not only can I feel darkness that is in people that are lying. I'm not talking about they looking funny and stuff. I'm talking about someone can call me right now and say, I need to borrow $30 because I didn't get my check. The Lord will say he's lying. He wants $30 because he wants to buy this or buy that. Or just anything. A person can call me and say, hey, Brother Ronald, you know, this and that happened. I would say, no, this is what happened. And they'll say, how do you know that? I said, because God sees all. He knows all. You're telling a lie. This is the difference between one who is spiritual and one who's religious. When you go to your pastor that's religious, he's going to ask you a million questions. When you go to one who is spiritual, he's going to tell you all that's in thy heart. Let's go to the Bible. Jesus was at a well one day, and a lady came to the well. And the Lord started talking to this lady and telling her about living waters. And she was like, hey, I want this water that I'll never have to come here again. But she's looking at it natural. The Lord was speaking spiritual. So faith comes by hearing by the word of God. So the woman at the well, faith was increasing. Listen to my master, speak to her. So she was ready to receive him. But the Lord said, what all must do before they come to me is what? The word starts with an R. It's to repent. He said, go and call your husband. She said, I don't have a husband. He said, yeah, and the other ones are not your husband either. Look what she said. Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Right? And she rejoiced. And she ran to the city and said, come meet this man who have told me all that I have ever done. So you see, those who are genuinely, truly, really commissioned by my master will speak what's in your heart. We're not going to go off of your lip service or what you tell us. We'll speak forth the truth. Whether your pride gets in the way of you wanting to express that is the truth, that's up to you. But at the end of the day, what are we going to lie for? And you know what's in your heart is true, right? You got a person that will call me and say, I've been doing all these things, Brother Ronald. I would say, well, yeah, the Lord said that you're still masturbating, though. And you masturbated yesterday at this time. And you had these clothes on. And you had your phone in your hand in this position. Why have you not spoken these truths? Brother, how would you know those things? I said, because God knows all and he sees all. He's above all. And the heavens do rule. Just because you playing with God or playing with Christianity doesn't mean it's not true. Just because my master allows people to believe in what they want to believe doesn't mean that he doesn't exist. You can't move him off his throne. He's there. He lives. Jesus walked this earth in flesh and blood. Right? So listen, religions believe that cancer is normal. You're on your own with that. People believe that having bad eyesight is okay. So you believe that having bad eyesight is okay, but an eagle can be a certain amount of 100 feet in the sky and see an ant on the ground, but you got bad eyesight. The God that made that eagle's eyesight to be that way, that's who I want to serve, and that's who I am serving. Remember, I'm just speaking in a sense if I was just coming to the truth. I already believe in these things. Let's not be deceived. I'm just using this as an example. But an eagle eyesight. You got monkeys that are stronger than humans. You got animals that can run faster than humans. So that means that the creator, which is God, had to give them those attributes, those abilities. right? So you got fish that can live in water and breathe oxygen, but come on land and can't breathe oxygen. You got humans who can breathe oxygen on land, but can't breathe the oxygen that's in the water. It's powerful. You got all these nations of human beings that look different, created to have different color skins, different type of hair, type of eyes, color, but we're all the same. That's who I want to serve. Not this false God that's telling me this and telling me that all's going to be well. No, because when you buy a car from a dealership, right, before they was able to make that car, they had to first know how to fix it when it had challenges. Because if they couldn't fix it, then it would be no way that they will sell and they'll make profit. They'll make gain, because the vehicle naturally wouldn't be able to stand the test of time. So these inventors had to know how to fix what they were inventing. So the Creator is the only one that can heal, deliver, rescue, and save his people, because he made us. So he knows when Satan does something to our body, when you're possessed by him, the devil, he can fix that part. Remember, he gave us eyesight. So it's no big deal for him to give someone who's blind their eyesight. He gave us hearing. He gave us a nervous system. He gave us an immune system. So it's nothing for him to make Brother Ronald's immune system strong. There's no allergies here. There's no sicknesses. You see these videos? I've been in many different states and cities, but never affected by the climate or what's taking place around me. Coronavirus, y'all never see me wear a mask. I've been on Facebook since 2015. That so-called COVID hit 2019. I ain't never wear no mask. I ain't hand sanitizer in my hand. I've been from the north to the south. Everywhere. Multiple states. Multiple people. I ain't got no cough going on, brothers and sisters. I ain't got no sicknesses. Neither does my family. You see them often on videos and pictures. By God's grace, all is well. I'm taking no precautions. We're protected by mighty hands. But when you live apart from God, you're not protected. Trouble will befall you. You will go through what the rest of the world is going to go through. Even those who claim to be Christians, but truly not. You're going to go through the same thing the world goes. That's why you go to the doctor's office. Ask yourself, when you go to the doctor's office, those who portray to be Christians, ask some people that sit in the office with you that's waiting to be seen by a doctor. Ask them what their faith is or who they believe in. Some going to say they're atheists. Some going to say they're Muslims. Some going to say that they believe in Buddha, Hindu, and everything. You should ask yourself, why are you, who's supposed to be believing in a powerful and mighty God that can protect you before all, you're in here amongst unbelievers going through the same thing they're going through? Where's your God? So go and tell them in the doctor's office that you serve God and try to help their faith increase to come to God. They're not going to come because you're just like them. People came to Jesus because they wanted to be different. Christians, back in the book of Acts days, were amazing. Read Acts 5. After Ananias and Sapphira died, look at verse 12. It says that the people magnified them. It said that the rest does not join them. After they seen people die for lying, they said, oh no, this is too serious. We still want to lie. But the Bible said, if you read in Acts 5, that they magnified them. So that means it was like, man, these are amazing, beautiful people. Right? That's who Christians are. The Bible said that we're the salt of the earth, the light of the world. But if you're in the doctor's office the same with an unbeliever, why would they come to your God when your God's not helping you? People seen Jesus and Mark, the lady with the issue of blood. The Bible says she heard about Jesus. Not she went to hear a preaching or a teaching or a sermon, but she just heard what he was able to do. And what happens when you had an encounter with him, that your life was never the same. Blind Bartimaeus, he couldn't even see. So blind Bartimaeus never seen a miracle that Jesus did, but he heard, because faith comes by seeing or hearing. Hearing. And hearing by the word of God. So blind Bartimaeus was hearing how people were receiving these things from this man. Blind Bartimaeus never seen Jesus, but the Bible said that he heard. People were talking. There's that man named Jesus from Nazareth, the carpenter's son. What, blind Bartimaeus? What's going on? Oh, it's a big crowd with him. Hundreds of people. They're following. They're shouting. We're seeing people get prayed for. Blind Bartimaeus listening. How far is he? Oh, he's probably about 50 feet from us. Here goes blind Bartimaeus. Son of David, have mercy on me. They said, who is that? Who are you screaming for? Oh, because I heard from listening that he is the Christ, the Messiah. He has come to liberate us, to help us. So blind Bartimaeus, Son of David, have mercy on me. The Bible said people told him to be quiet. He shouted louder. Jesus said, what do you want me to do for you? He said, I want to see. Boom. He received his sight. Is anything hard for the Lord? Is anything too hard for the Lord? He created us. So I would never, ever believe, nor even listen, nor tolerate any person that's worshiping these false gods try to tell me about their gods and about my God. That's blasphemy and it's foolishness. Your God doesn't do anything for you. Your God don't even tell you when a person is conning you or when a woman is deceiving you. You guys are single. You women are single. God's not even telling you that the man is deceiving you. The man's only coming for sex. God's not even telling you that the man's got great self-control. He specialized in trickery and deceit. God's not telling you that. So you go and spend all this time and spend all this money, go on all these dates, you get all these feelings, then he breaks your heart. Where was God? Because the Bible said that all good gifts come down from the Father of light. He said that no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. So why that man break your heart? Why that person scam you out of your money? Why that church that you believe was a true living church deceive you? And now you're angry and you're bitter and you have resentment. Why those Christians that you thought were true Christians deceive you? God wasn't there, brothers and sisters. So you see, it's a difference. I'm going at two. I'm going at those who portray to be Christians and those who are not believers. Not to speak down, because you can receive the faith. You can receive salvation. God loves you. You're just deceived. Your pride is in the way. Because many don't want to live righteously anyway. So religion gives you that freedom to be worldly, but not feel like you're worldly. Because they teach you a few things. Dress this way. Talk this way. Preach this way. You're still worldly. Ain't no difference. People be talking about God all day long and be gossiping. The Bible said in James, out of the same mouth proceed blessings and cursings. This ought not to be. That's the word in James. Read it, brothers and sisters. So those who portray to be Christians live like the rest of the world. They might just not curse unless you push them further enough. They might just not say certain things that others in the world might say. They might not go to certain clubs, but they watching Love and Hip Hop. They watching Wendy Williams. They watching Scandal, Empire. They might not be in the bars, but they might sip a little wine here and there at their house. They might drink a few beers. Jesus drunk wine. He turned water to wine. I know that's right. Y'all gonna find anything that allow y'all to sin that you could twist in the Bible. Oh, the Lord got angry and flipped over tables. It didn't say he got angry. Remember who he was and who he is when he walked this earth. The Bible said that he was the visible, invisible image of God in the flesh. That's the word. He can do what he wants to do. He don't have to be angry. Angry is a human emotion. It's not for God. The way that you're affected by things, God is not. Because God created the whole world. And 90% of the world don't serve him. Ask me if he's an angry God. Ask me, does he lose control? When he's righteousness, the Bible said that God is light and him is no darkness at all. Ask me if God is an angry God, a selfish God, a prideful God. How come when God made the world, he didn't put all human beings in audience, in attendance? How come he didn't make this stadium floating out of space where we're all just watching? On the first day, God created this. On the second day, God created this. On the third day, and look at God. Oh, look at me, guys. Look how amazing I am. I'm the stuff. I got it made. Look at me, how cool I am. God made the world first and then created us. Created much of the world and then created us. and the world started populating. God never sits in the sky like, hey guys, it's me, the creator. I did it. I'm awesome. Let me hear it. Look at that. Look at Hawaii. Look at the Bahamas. Look at Dubai. Look at this place. I did it. I made the waters clear. Let me get a clap on my back. God never, ever portrayed himself in pride. But Lucifer did that. So, see the difference? So I would never want to hear anything about Buddhism, Hinduism, Allah. Save it, brothers and sisters. Save it. Because your gods with a lowercase g ain't doing nothing for you. You're sick. You're being tormented. You're being afflicted. You're hearing voices. You're being attacked. You got high blood pressure. You got diabetes. You got all these challenges from your God. Where's Allah? Where's Buddha? Where's Hinduism God? Where's the Scientology people? Whatever they believe in. Where's your God? Because the same God that makes that sun rise and sets every day behind me perfectly, that's who I want to serve. Because that's perfection that lies in him in order to make that sun and moon and the world the way it is be the same. He can be trusted. Your God can't be trusted. Your God copied off of my true God's word. Buddha was around. Buddha came a little bit after Jesus' time. Read about Buddhism, what they believe. They took from the Old Testament. We believe in peace and meditation. In Joshua, what does it say? Meditate on this book of law day and night, that thou may observe. Y'all took from my God's word. Every religion, every nation, every human being bites off the Bible. You want to marry a woman? Who first said marry? You call a woman? Who first said she was a woman? You call a man? Who first said that a man was a man? Who said trees were trees first in the Bible? Who had the first navy? Solomon. What do we hear about army? What do we hear the word army before in the Bible? So every nation, every false religion takes from my God's word. But the reason they don't believe in his word is because of righteousness. But they can't run or function in this world without that perfect foundation that is found in God's word. So they wouldn't even know what's left and what's right. They wouldn't even know that to how to make love with a woman if the Bible didn't tell them. They wouldn't know what to do with it. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't even have laws right now if they didn't have the 10 Commandments. Right? So listen. Every religion takes from the Bible. That cannot be disputed. None of these books that are out are older than the Old Testament, the 10 Commandments. Come on, you scientists and these archaeologists and whatever you want to be. People that find dinosaurs, right? They have found ancient manuscripts. They know how old these things are from their technology. They can tell from the hide, the skin, the different things that were used, the ink, right? They have God allowed technology. You know why we have technology in this world? To prove that the Bible is what it says. You know why God allowed astronauts to go to outer space? To prove that only life exists on this earth. Stop believing what the news is saying. They're unbelievers on the news. They're not believers. The Bible said the wisdom of the world is foolishness. Oh, there's aliens. You got Bigfoot that's running around in the woods. That's 12 feet tall. But nobody ever... We got phones that can shoot in 4K. That can see as clear as you looking through your eyes. But every time you see a video of Bigfoot, it's in the worst quality. Like them old video cameras back in the 90s. Like, we got cameras that are $100,000. And they going on these type of hunts for Bigfoot. These exhibitions looking for Bigfoot. And when they say, oh, there you go right there. It looks like you're looking through a camera from the 80s or 90s. And we got the best technology today. Aliens. Oh, aliens exist. Anything to keep you from the truth. Dinosaurs never existed. Never existed. The bones that they find are animals that once were in this world. There are many animals today that went extinct, that were here 100 years ago. Ask these archaeologists. Ask zookeepers. There are animals today that's going extinct. And when they die off in the wilderness, 100 years later, people are going to find their bones and say, oh, this was a saber-toothed tiger. But it was a real tiger, not a saber-tooth. First of all, In order to test DNA, right, you have to have that living being and be able to test it against what is maybe not living or what is living. So who had a living dinosaur? They'll take a crocodile and say, oh, this bones has similarity to this crocodile. A sheep head got similarities to a human being. It has human teeth. A sheephead fish. Look it up, brothers and sisters. Look it up. Those who are watching here, look this up. A sheephead's fish have teeth like a human. So I'm pretty sure whatever's inside their teeth is probably similar to what's inside our teeth. I got this chapstick on my lips. After it dries up, so leaving your lips white. That's not a good look. So, look it up. So there's similarities. Come on, a wolf and a dog. A horse and a zebra. I mean, come on, brothers and sisters. You know? God's trying to show you that everything came from him. That's all. So listen. How can you tell if a dinosaur was here without having a dinosaur? And you take something and saying, this how it would have looked it. You ain't never find no dinosaur. Look, they have made fake dinosaur replica bones that they have put in the ground just to bring people vainglory and attention to themselves. Oh, look, what's what we found. Come on, brothers and sisters. The Bible don't mention it. People say, because not in the Bible, mean it didn't exist. No, it didn't exist. Because in order for that to exist, you got to debunk God. Because the whole belief of dinosaurs was that they were extinct when what happened? That's right. So that takes away God's word and how he created the world. So you see, brothers and sisters, it's all designed to shift your folks from the truth and how you believe in lies. Remember, the Bible said the whole world lies in wickedness. But listen, we coming to an end. I will never believe in none of those things. I'm good. I'm good here. I'm just using this to help y'all. This for God live, for God die. To the last moment of my life, I'm gonna worship the Lord. To the last breath of my lungs, I'm gonna worship the Lord. Right? But and those religions don't have anything to offer. I will never settle with having these things, knowing that a bird eyesight is better than a human's. So the creator that gave that bird that eyesight, he could do the same thing for you. Right? I will never settle with just going to a statue or believing in something without no proof. But the proof that Jesus gives you is the Holy Spirit and the Word. And first of all, his word. If the whole world obeyed his word, it'll be a better place. There'll be no violence. There'll be no lust, no strip club, no BET, no MTV. Do y'all really want that? You see, brothers and sisters, when people really see the truth, they really see how far they are from God and how they really don't want to live for God. Because living for him means that everything that you know today wouldn't exist. All those flashy cars, all that Gucci and Louis and all them diamonds and chains, all stuff that bring you glory, the Gucci, Louis Vuitton, these expensive vehicles, right? If Christians were able to control what was invented, right? We'll have a regular watch that you can get out of Walmart, tell you the time. Forget a Rolex, 50,000 to make you feel status. We'll have a different vehicles because you have bigger families. You have vehicles that people will have one truck, one production of trucks that can do what any other truck do. A GMC right here, a Ford right here, a Dodge right here. Look at this. It's a Ford right there. Next to that is a Chevy. Next to that is a Dodge. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's the grace of God. You got the major companies in America. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, and GMC. Right? All in one. They all do the same thing. But the world's not content. The world has anxiety. So when the iPhone 13 is coming out, the iPhone 14 is going to be coming out right around. They do the same thing. Oh, it's the camera. The camera. Come on, brothers and sisters. As long as you can text and talk and be able to get on the web or whatever else, you can have an iPhone 8 that does the same thing. Or 7. They stop updating them after a period of time to force you to buy the newer ones, to make that money, to be the number one. Read Ecclesiastics. Read the last few verses. Read the last verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and listen what Solomon said. It's all vanity. It's all vanity. That's it. You got Burger King next to McDonald's. Just sell the burgers. Oh, Burger King is the best. Our meat's never frozen. they're trying to become the best. It's always about being number one, just like Lucifer. Darkness influences this world. That's the truth. So that's what you see. Nobody wants to go to hell. So that's why religion is so powerful, because these people want to believe that they're going to heaven. But you have heard stories, and you've seen in the Bible where it even tells you that those who say, Lord, Lord, not in the kingdom of heaven. The only reason I speak with this confidence and this boldness is because I'm permitted to. Because the Lord speaks to me. He showed me things. He's proven things. His grace, everything. He has built me up to be who I am today for his glory, for his will. So I only speak with this confidence and this boldness because he taught me to. He told me to. And he allows me to. Under his permission and his grace. I know him. So I can speak about demons all day long and not get attacked. Many folks don't talk about demons as Christians because they know they get attacked. You see? No trouble will befall me from darkness because I'm protected by mighty hands. But I will warn you, don't speak amongst things that you have not been permitted or been sent to, because it's dangerous. To practice Christianity as a hobby is dangerous. I don't care if you go to church, you pay them tithes and offering, that's not biblical. You wonder why so much trouble is coming before you. I pay my tithes, I'm in church every day. You are committing a sin if it's not living church. And Jesus Christ never asked for tithes and offerings. Not my Lord. And in the New Testament, the believers never paid tithes and offerings. They gave money to those who were in need. Read in Acts 4. So they brought the money to the apostles' feet, and distribution was made to all that was in need. There was a man at the Gate of Beautiful. He was asking for alms. And Peter said, silver and gold I have none. So he wasn't walking around with bankrolls. Jesus Christ never kept the money bag. Judas did. When Job lost everything, God put on people's heart to come bless Job. When Jesus Christ was born, the wise men who were led by the star, which was an angel, people seen it as a star, just took on the form. They presented gifts and treasures for the journey ahead. You see, David said, I've been young, but I'm now old. I have never seen the righteous forsaken nor his seed begging bread. Brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you this. The God who I serve keeps my health 100%, keeps my strength 100%, my family as well. We don't have sick days. These days where we're attacked by demons. Any of those things. Those things used to happen to me before my master became the Lord in my life, over my life. So in other religions, I will never settle because your God with the lowercase g ain't doing nothing for you. I will just keep searching till I find the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm just being honest. But I'll never settle knowing the power that controls this world. That power I will want over my life. That protection I want over my life. That grace is what I will want over my life. I will never settle. And listen, brothers, listen to me. Those who write me, those who comment, I don't have anything against anybody. But one thing I can tell you is I will not be moved nor be persuaded by anything. I stand boldly and firmly on what I speak from my master. I'm not timid. I'm not afraid of the devil or his attacks and schemes. Paul said that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. I'm speaking forth truth. I'm not bringing glory to Satan. I'm not bringing glory to demons. I'm not glorifying this world. Even my master said, I don't pray for this world, but for those he was sent to. I don't speak anything to glorify darkness. Fornication is wrong. Sex is wrong. Lying is wrong. Murder is wrong. Pride is wrong. Homosexuality is wrong. All those things are wrong. I speak righteousness. So I won't be persuaded nor moved by whatever anybody has to say. It doesn't matter what they think God is telling them or what they think that they're hearing from the Lord. One thing God will not do is speak against his word. or speak outside of his word. God's word is his voice. When God speaks, it sounds like the Bible. When Jesus Christ fought against Satan, right? When he faced temptation, right? When he went in the wilderness, what did he recite? Scripture. He didn't go off what he think and he felt. He said, it is written in Deuteronomy 8 verse 3 that man shall not live by what? Bread alone. He fought with scripture. He didn't fight back with how he felt or what he think that a person was saying. Everything he spoke was biblical. So if someone writes you and say, hey, I just feel and I just think, and this is what this is, that's the devil. Because he's the one that adds and takes away. A genuine believer is only going to speak Bible, not just one verse, but have multiple verses supporting what he's saying, because one verse can be misinterpreted. But the Bible's not a contradiction. So if the Bible say don't sin, I can show you 100 more verses that say don't sin. You might say, well, oh, the Bible say if whoever said they have no sin. No, but the same person saying that is still saying in the next verse, the next chapter, don't sin. He's saying that if any person comes and say, I have never sinned, I don't sin, I never sin, then how would they come to God? So he's saying that he's letting the world know, John is saying that everybody must repent and turn to Jesus. But the Jews, who were their opposition back in those times, believed that they were sinless. So he's saying that if anyone says, because why would an unbeliever say he doesn't sin? Come on, brothers. He's talking about religious folks. An unbeliever knows he's a sinner. What are you talking about? Think about it, brothers and sisters. If I sit here and say the Bible says that you're not supposed to fornicate, and I meet an unbeliever that's fornicating, he's going to say he don't sin? It's clearly written right there. It's a sin. So he's talking about those who were feeling they were righteous and they were holy. He was talking about the Jews. That's why he said if a man say he don't sin. Remember, they were trying to convert people to come to Jesus. That's why Paul disputed with the Jews in Iconium. He was trying to prove to them that they were sinners. And John backed that up in 1 John and said, well, if any man say he hasn't sinned, doesn't know God. The Jews believed that they didn't know God. The Jews felt they were God's people. So John was telling them, no. If any man say he hasn't sinned, he's a liar. Then you go to chapter 2, it says, don't sin. So come on, brothers and sisters, that doesn't make any sense. If you would have asked John, do he sin? He would have said, no. We're not sinners, we're saints. I'm not a sinner. Do you break the law? Are you a criminal? Okay, then. So as you're happy to claim not to be a criminal, I'm happy to claim not to be a sinner. I don't want to fornicate. I don't want to lie. I don't want to do wrong. I'm not a sinner. It's not what I willfully do and I deliberately do every day. No, I don't. There's no reason to. Don't want to. It's against my God. Do you steal from your mom? Do you lie to your mom? Do you hate your mom? Okay, so that's the same way I feel towards my God. I know that it's wrong, so why would I do it? I don't want to do it. It's not in me to do it. The Bible says in 1 John 5:18, he is born of God, sinneth not. He's begotten of God. Keep saying, we're going to touch him not. So if Satan is not touching me, according to John 5:18. Read 1 John 5:18. If Satan is not touching me, then how would I be provoked when the Spirit is in me? And the only thing the Spirit has is righteousness inside of it. So it says that he that's born of God sinneth not. He that's begotten of God keep himself, and the wicked one touch him not. If Satan comes to touch, what does he come to do? Tempt, provoke. The Bible said that God will never allow you to be tempted above what you're able, and will always make a way for you to escape. So if you're giving into sin, God is not with you. What sin did Abraham commit? What sin did Daniel? Remember, let's go back to the book of Daniel. Daniel never even had the New Testament. But the Bible said that the people, those wise men, were trying to find a fault. They were trying to get people to turn against Daniel. But everybody respected him because he was righteous and upright. Read it, brothers and sisters. Go to Daniel, read the book of Daniel. They were trying to find, I'm talking about these unbelievers are trying to find like flaws in him. They couldn't. They said that everything he did was righteous. So they had to push the king to make a decree that whoever was caught praying to any other god but towards this and that, this statue and these gods, right, that is to be thrown into lion's den. That's the only way they can get him. But they didn't find anything. He wasn't bribing nobody. He wasn't lying. He wasn't fornicating. He never even got married or had a wife. He wasn't doing any of those things. They couldn't find any fault in this brother. It's in the Bible. Read it. You see? So all I'm trying to explain to you is this, that I won't be moved. I won't be persuaded. Even in the future, people come and say, oh, this is what I feel. I'm sent from God to speak forth his truth, to defend the word of God, and to confirm it. That's what I'm sent here to do. I will not be moved by these people that are sent by the devil, claiming to be Christians, trying to plant negative seeds. You search my Facebook page 2015, I have only glorified God. I have never glorified anything. I don't speak against these pastors, whether they're small pastors, middle pastors, mega pastors. I don't speak against any of those things. I don't got no videos up here talking about conspiracy theories. The Lord never did those things. The Lord never did what you see most people that claim to be Christians do. They talk about everything that's going on in the world. We already prepared for the world. A true believer is mature. Paul said, when I was a child, I thought like a child. I spoke like a child and still like a child. When I came a man, put away childish things, talking about being born again. Because without being born again, you're like a child. You don't know any better. That's why you live in sin. You're going to go to hell. Why would you do something that's going to send you to hell? Why would a child put their hand on a stove? Why would a child put their finger in a socket? They don't know any better, right? But an adult knows repercussions that come from doing those things. That's what Paul is using. So listen, right? So at the end of the day, I know what it is that's required, right? I came from a past of sin, and I seen where it led me to. So why would I want to do those things today? One thing a person don't never want to admit is that they find pleasure in sin. Stop sitting here saying that we all going to sin. Why you don't rob banks and steal and do different things like that? Because you know the repercussions are going to come from it. I know because it'll come from sin. So it's gone, brothers and sisters. It's not there. Don't want to do it. Don't have anything to do with it. Well, I'm going to look at a woman and say, oh yeah, her butt is big. Then what? You're going to either want to masturbate or fornicate. Why you don't tell yourself those things? Why not say I find pleasure in sin, but I know I shouldn't do those things? I got to really increase my faith to want to live for God. Why? Oh, we are going to sin. No, you're going to sin. You're going to sin. You see? So, I will never believe in any of this foolishness because they don't have anything to offer. My God protects me from things that are to come. It could be a drunk driver that's driving in 3 lanes to the left of me, but behind me. And he could be getting ready to swerve to cause a major accident. Before that will happen, my master will warn me, right? And you be protected. There could be a pack of wild dogs that's about to run by. I will see the angel protect me from those things. Remember, when Peter, it's too deep, brothers and sisters, but listen, that's too much. Faith has to be to understand. But listen, a spiritual Christian is given a certain measure of grace to protect you from the tricks and attacks of the enemy. I'm not just talking about when you're sleeping at night or being held down or voices in your mind or thoughts in your head. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about protection from mistreatment, wrongdoing, different things like that. A true Christian is not always complaining and saying, oh, this has happened, that's happened. You got those who just claim it and you got those who truly live in it. It's a difference. But I want to serve the God that made this world, that controls that sun and that moon. Because since I've been a child, I'm 34 years old now, I have never seen that sun take a day off or make a mistake. Have you ever seen the world make a mistake? I'm talking about the world. I'm not talking about humans in the world. I'm saying, have you ever seen the world make a mistake? No. It rains. The wind blows. The waves go to the shore and they get pulled back out. The earth is rotating. The sun is rising and setting. Never seen it take a day off. That's who I'm serving. A perfect God that can control the perfect function of this world. It's human beings that make the world the way it looks. But as far as the ground, as far as the sky, you've never seen the sky crack. We see glass crack. Things that men make never stand a test of time. A tree is more stronger when it's in the ground than when it's cut to be made into something. It will stand a test of time forever. All right? So, You never seen the sky crack or have a hole in it because God used some cheap material to make the sky. Come on, brothers and sisters. Look up at your sky. Look at the sky I'm looking at. See anything wrong with it? Look at it. Have you ever seen the sky have a flaw in it? You ever seen a cloud that looked like it was messed up? You ever felt the wind blow and instead of the wind blowing, it blew thorns or something? You understand what I'm saying? It's perfect. It's the same. You feel the wind blowing every day. How does it feel? The same way it felt yesterday, whether it's stronger or whether it's weaker. It feels the same. It's the same consistency blowing. Fresh water is continuously just running into the ocean, but the ocean never fills up. Who's controlling that? That's who I'm serving. Who promises me to have good health? God. Who promised me to protect me from deceivers? God. Who promised to give me the spirit of discernment? God. So all you single folks out there, you're looking for your Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, right? But you don't got God. You're going to be hurt. You see? You're going to be hurt because you're going off of your own wisdom, which is not wisdom at all. Because the Bible gives you, and read the Psalms, read Psalms and Proverbs. That's wisdom in itself. So you see, brothers, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. You're going to go off of how somebody present themselves. Well, if that was the case, Ananias would deceive Peter, because he said he sold all he sold, but he lied. So he didn't come as someone lying, like, oh yeah, I'm about to lie to you, Peter. Like saying he was lying to Peter. That's what I mean. He didn't come as someone saying that he was lying. He came as somebody that was being honest. And he had part of what he sold. So anyone else in the world to believe that, oh, thank you, God. Like you see on these preachers receive things from people. They're like, oh, the Lord bless me. Not knowing it was Satan that was doing those things. Keeping further in religion and making money their God. They don't see that. Somebody call you and say, hey, I got this going on, and give you they're a great liar, great manipulator. And they say, oh, I need this, I need that. You'll say, man, I got to help this person. Okay, let me give you wisdom. I was talking to these guys that was from YouTube, these YouTubers, right? I seen them at this certain place I was at. And we were talking, and he was saying, yeah, I asked God. I prayed to God today or the other day and asked God for me to help somebody. The first person that was in need. Brother, everybody's in need, brother. Okay, but let me get this story. I can't help it, brothers and sisters. Satan is just sneaky. But listen, so he said he prayed that God will send him someone that's in need. I guess to give him some money. So he said that this woman called him and some of this other woman who was going through this and going through that, going through that. Right? So I listened to his story. I was quiet. I was humble. The Bible says, so to speak, quick to listen. So after he was done, I didn't really speak much on what he said, right? But what I did tell him was this, that my master taught me that everybody can't be trusted with money. If someone is hungry, feed them. But when it comes to giving somebody money, I have to go to him, right? Because a lot of times when you give a person money, God is in control of everything. And 99% of the time, people are being humbled by God. Those who are in the world, whether they claim to be Christians, which is still in the world, who are not true Christians, they're being humbled. Those who are being attacked by demons are being humbled. God is allowing things to happen. I'm just, brothers and sisters, listen to me. If God keeps me from getting protected by demons, protect me from demons, and not allow me to get attacked by demons, he can do the same thing for anybody else, right? He's not a respecter of person. So if he's allowing it to happen, just like when I was going through that, that's what pushed me to receive what I received from God, to receive deliverance and all those different type of things that took place, right? It was to humble me, to show me. And I'm praying, nothing is changing. So I'm like, what's going on? I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm praying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, nothing happened. I get one touch from man of God and poof, my life changed drastically. And here I am today, right? So it humbled me. I ain't nobody. I wasn't nobody back then, right? And I was reading the Bible for a year before I got delivered. So the point that I'm trying to make is this, is that whatever a person is going through, God's in control. So the Lord has to be the Lord over their life, because he would teach them balance with money. He would teach them, he would get rid of their lusts, their worldly desires. Because why does a person go broke? Because they have lustful desires. They're not using wisdom. They're being delusional, believing that money's going to come out of nowhere if they spend it here. They're moving in lust, wanting. They're moving in covetousness. They want the things of the world, right? They don't have God. There's no balance. So you go and give that person all this money. That's the same person that made bad decisions. The same person that was moving in lust. The same person that was moving in covetousness. And you just gave them all this money to let them do it all over again. And they're going to never see that their need is God and not money. Because even when they don't have money, guess what they got? Life, air to breathe, their mind, their mouth, their needs to get on and call out to God for his intervention. Money doesn't change anything but a person's circumstances for temporary time. Ask rich people that's millionaires. They say more money, more problems, right? But Ecclesiastes talks about how you want more silver, you'll want more silver, because they don't have contentment. See, when you have money, the world tells you that you got to live like a person that has money. You got to buy a big house, expensive car. You got to shop at different stores. Don't go to Walmart. Not where I'm at right now. Walmart. I don't shop at Walmart. People that's middle class, they shop at either Target or Publix or Kroger's. A lot of people despise Walmart. They feel like, oh, that's where poor people shop at. See how the world, darkness influences the world? So that's the difference, brothers and sisters. The difference, right, is that God will say, yes, if the person is hungry, feed them. A lot of times I have met people that was on the streets ask for money. And I'll say, you need some food? They'd be like, yeah. I said, well, I can go buy it. What do you want? Oh, no, it's okay. I'll just take the money. I said, but if you're hungry, I'll give you something so that you can eat. They don't want the food. They said they want the money. It's clear indication, right? Because no matter how much money you need, you still got to eat. That's the reality. And if you're saying if your sign says hungry, and I'm saying I'll buy you food, see? So, but a lot of times, there's so much manipulation in the world, and trickery, and deceit, that you got to have wisdom, but it only can come from God. You say, oh, I'm going to bless this person. You're not blessing them. The Bible says this, that you're not supposed to partake in another man's sins. So if you give that person money and they go buy something wrong, drugs, alcohol, or they go and lust with it or sin, you just help that person to sin. Right? Not using wisdom. Say, listen, I don't have anything to give right now. I got some food if you need it. Some canned goods, some bread, some lunch meat. I can give you that. And I can also tell you about Jesus. Give it over to him. Because if you're able to have balance with your money and you're wise with your money, and if you're from God, who taught you that? So wouldn't that be what you give them? Because if you just give them that money, they're going to be right back in the same boat, because they never were chastised, humbled. They never were taught how to have balance. They never was given wisdom, not to be over, to be under, but to be centered. Balance. They never was taught that. So you give them that money, what are they going to go do with it? They're using the same mind that doesn't have wisdom to make a decision. I just got $1,000. I'm going to go play a scratch off. I'm going to go buy a hotel room. I'm going to go buy some beer and some weed and cigarettes. And then I'm going to hop on the bus to go try to find a job. The last part never comes to fruition. You understand? So that's all I'm trying to tell you. Next thing you know, they back ask for money again. So everybody can't be trusted with money. That's the reality. So just like I gave to y'all, this was given to me from God. See the difference? So look, there's a story that's going around where a certain pastor had a certain amount of money stolen from him years ago. Didn't know where it was at. They found it in the wall of their bathroom. Not saying no names, just giving you wisdom. You can find this out for yourself. The Bible says speak evil of no man. I'm just giving you wisdom, educational purposes. and this is what I was. This is the topic that I was given. This is the topic of the video that I made today. This is all in relations. I'm not speaking against any person. There's time and a place for those things, to rebuke and chastise, right? But at the end of the day, money was taken from this pastor and was hidden in their bathroom in the wall. A big, large sum of money. Police was involved in everything. So years later, a plumber found the money in the bathroom, in the wall. Where was God, brothers and sisters? How would that person have stole that money under the watch of God? A living church is ran by the living God. The Bible talks about in Acts how they had prophets and people that will prophesy, speak in tongues, and others will be there. There's no way that a person would have been, there's no way that Satan would have been able to infiltrate a living church to where you're confused. God, what happened to that money? Which one on the ministry is the one? Come on, brothers and sisters. What did Jesus Christ say about Judas? One of you guys will betray me. They say, which one is it, Lord? He didn't say, I don't know, but I think it's one of these people. Let's hire a private investigator. He said, you. The one puts his hand in the bowl. He told Peter what was to come. God knows everything, brothers and sisters. You can't call Brother Ronald's phone and deceive me. My master's going to tell me. You call the phone, you tell me this is pride. You write me a messenger and it's not truly and genuine. He's going to say this is the devil. He's an agent of Satan, or she, whoever. He's going to say, don't even talk to that person. They're not humble. Their heart's not open to receive. I won't write them back. They think it's me. I'm being controlled by God, because the word of God says what? The steps of a good man are ordered in the Lord. Steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord, to live in his way. That's right. Steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So God tells me what to do and what not to do. Without him, I'm lost. Without him, I wouldn't make it. I'll be going through just like everybody else be going through. But because of his grace and his mercy and his compassion upon my life, I'm able to navigate through these troubled waters. I'm able to go into the fire without smelling like smoke. It's like Meshach and Abednego. That's the God who I'm serving. All these folks can believe who they want to believe. I'm not fighting with them, not debating with them. But I'm telling you this. They come to me asking me about God. I'm telling them why I serve him. Because he is a true God. He comes with promises. He comes with gifts. He comes with abilities that you would never, ever have. If I tell you about some of the abilities that come with the Holy Spirit, I wouldn't even believe me. But if you came to live with me or be around me for a week or two, you will see those abilities. You don't even know what I'm even speaking on. You're thinking about physical things. No, brothers and sisters, it's deeper. Let me give you wisdom. Say I get a hotel room. And I go into the hotel room and I pull the blanket back. I'm about to say my prayers on my knees. There's a blood spot on the bed. The Holy Spirit in me can tell me whether that person was stabbed or they had a bloody nose. That's how powerful the Holy Spirit is. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you, brothers and sisters? A person could be on the phone with me right now. I can see in the spirit by God the demons that's making that person think certain things as I'm talking to them, or even feel certain things as I'm talking to them. And I would say, hey, right now, this is the thought that you just had when I said this. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just telling you what God does. I'm not saying it's anything that I do. It's just a grace. He does these things. Remember, Samuel, he told King Saul, he said, when King Saul dad lost the donkeys, before he was King Saul, so he just called him Saul first. Saul was looking for his father's donkeys. So he said, go to that seer. So they knew. When they went to the seer, which was Samuel, sorry. Samuel said, go up before me and go up there and eat. And he said, go up there before me. And he said, tonight, I'm going to tell you all what's in thy heart. So God, I will see people, but God will show me what's wrong with them, what's going on, what Satan is doing to them, what's troubling them, what's taking place in their life. He would show me that. He would show me the spirits, the demons, different things, whatever it is that he wants to show, because he knows all and he sees all. So when these folks talk about these religions and all these different things, they don't know God. This is why I serve God, because he's real. He protects you. A woman, I was at this place a few weeks ago, and these women that worked there, they weren't dressed up provocative or nothing. They was dressing like they work clothes, like uniforms. And one had came and talked to me, and immediately, God said, this woman has the spirit of lust inside of her, right? And once that happened, right, I wasn't, I was just saying a few words, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, because I was at this fishing pier, and she walked up, and she like I guess she rescued birds that get caught in like fishing wire and stuff like that. So once that was revealed to me, immediately I knew this wasn't someone that I'm about to plant a seed in, or one that I'm about to, so I immediately just kind of, I had compassion, but I also, made sure that the words that were spoken, that was it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, and kind of like just took off and didn't really say much. So the next time I was there, I was talking to these men, and one of the guys was married, right? Didn't know this person. And one of the women came, and he was like, yeah, this woman keeps on coming, on to me, and she knows that I'm married. And sure enough, the woman came up, and I didn't know these guys. I met these guys afterwards. So the woman came up, and, she was all talking to us like that. And it's everything that he said. But before that happened, God already told me about that, the women, those women. You see what I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters? So I didn't have to talk to a human being first to know. It was already told to me. And so now when I was at the pier fishing, like time after that, when a woman ride by, I just don't even look. I make sure I don't make any eye contact. I know there's nothing. And I want to shame that devil, right? Show them, and to shame her, because other men might go for it. So I want to let her know that I'm serving a living God. And if it ever goes to that point where it's like, oh, I just, sometimes I see you never speak and stuff like that, then that's when I'll start, that mean that God made an opportunity for her to hear the truth. But right now, she doesn't want to hear it. Everybody's heart is not open. That's why Jesus Christ spoke in parables. So everyone doesn't want to hear it. They want to just immediately just be like, you don't even waste your time. Wait till God provides. The Bible said no man comes to him unless God draws him. So I have to wait on my master to be able to speak, rebuke, and chastise, or whatever it takes place. So that's the difference between a person who's spiritual and one who's religious. One who believes in false gods, they're going to go through what the rest of the world go through. As a genuine believer, we're not going to be touched. The only thing that's going to affect us, be able to affect us, is persecution. When I mean affect, I mean that we're going to go through persecution. So you are going to go through it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the difference. So that's the reality, brothers and sisters. So when they say they believe in Allah, Allah not doing nothing for them. Buddha not doing anything for them. It's a statue. Allah is something that was invented. Satan used, to deceive the world, to make it seem like there was mistakes and flaws. You can't have... Islam was written 600 years after the Bible. The Quran was written 600 years after the Bible. If you're saying that the Bible was flawed, then that means that your belief is flawed. Because you can't take something that's flawed and make something that's authentic. That doesn't make any sense. You don't buy a fake Gucci bag and make it into a real Gucci bag. Think about what I'm saying. So if you're saying that Jesus Christ is not Lord, then you're saying that there's a mistake in the Bible. Because the Bible was saying he is the Lord. And if you took from that same book, then that means your religion is not authentic. Because you're saying that this is unauthentic. So you can't take something that's unauthentic and then make it authentic. That doesn't make any sense. Either it's real or it's not real. Either it's fake. You understand? So for them to write the Quran 600 years after the Bible and say that my master is not who he say he is, or who God said he is, then that makes their whole belief false. Because you're saying that this is false. And you're basically got a book that took from it to make it. But listen to me. Y'all are intelligent people right here. And I'm not making this about Islam. Just hear me out. They took from our Bible 600 years later now. 600 years later. Y'all are intelligent. Listen now. Use the intelligence that God gave you. Just hear me out. I only speak on the influence of the Holy Spirit for the glory of God. They take from our Bible 600 years after the Bible. And they take from the Old Testament right? Certain things and other things they take as well, and they say that Jesus Christ is not the Savior of the world. We believe he was a prophet, but not the Messiah. But you took all this that you feel was authentic and genuine, but there's one part you feel that is questionable. Listen, if there's one mistake in the Bible as you believe, then that means the whole Bible is not true. That's right, sister. Deception. Great word to use. Deception. And that's how the enemy works. He's a deceiver. So that's why you see, you can't take from the Bible and then say the Bible is not true. Then why you take from it? Find something else to take from it that you feel is true. If the Bible has questions, listen, I got to get ready to leave. But listen, people in every walk of life take from the Bible. You got folks that be on TV, be like, oh, Jesus Christ. Or like even actors, they write God's name into movies. Disrespecting God by just like, they'll say, oh, holy S. Yeah, like crazy stuff, right? They'll say GD, the curse word, right? Disgraceful. Satan has made it to where it's like a trend to like curse God's name and say God's name in a curse or use a derogatory. Satan has done that, right? Total disrespect. But everything you see, some form or fashion, my master name, his word is incorporated in people's lives and then they function. You everywhere, but they despise him because the Bible said, my master spoke this word. This is what my master said. He said, the light came into the world, but men loved darkness rather than the light because their deeds were evil. Then you go way further back into Genesis. He said that he repented that he made men because they're pleasures for lust and for sin. But you will realize that even people that struggle in sin, they find pleasure in it. They never say like, oh, I'm just forced to do this. Like I just find myself walking to the liquor store and my hand is controlling, it's going inside my pocket and it's being forced out and it's buying this bottle of liquor. Man, when they get drunk, ask them how they feeling. They dancing, they doing all the new dances, they doing everything. Ask them how they feel when they get high. Ask them how they feel when they having sex and that sperm come out their penis, or the woman has an organ. Ask them how they feel when they're fornicating. They ain't sitting there talking about, oh, I'm weak in faith. I'm weak in faith. I'm weak. You know, you know, how did it feel when you was inside that woman? Did it feel not pleasurable? Did it not feel good? So that's why you did it, because it's pleasurable. Stop talking about we're all going to sin. You know that felt good to you. Stop lying. Okay, listen, real quick. I do got to go. Listen, I'm going to share this. When you look at people that's in this world, the world finds pleasure in darkness. I'm not talking about, we're off the religious topic. I already told you that no religion has anything to offer. But God has everything to offer. The true God. Not the God in these religious churches. Right? Because I'm a Christian to the core. I'm a Christian now. A Christian. Today I die. And I go on and live in glory. Right? I'm a Christian. I'm not speaking against my people. I'm speaking against those who are not living as true Christians and mocking my God. It's a difference. I love everybody. It don't matter if you're a Christian or not. I love you. It don't matter if you're religious. It don't matter if you a false pastor, false preacher. I love you. But you're wrong. Now listen. This is what I'm trying to say. You can have the same opportunity that everyone has. You can receive salvation. You can repent. You can turn your life around and live for Jesus. The right way. You have the same opportunity. As long as you got air in your breath. You got air in your lungs. And you know, and the grace is there to give you opportunity. You can do it. I love you all. I have nothing against I will never speak anything against, I will never speak evil against anybody. I don't care what names are mostly used out here in these videos against mega pastors. They just like anyone else. Why are you treating a mega pastor same that way? Nothing between a Muslim preacher or a Muslim speaker or Iman or a Hinduism. Nothing different. Nothing different than an actor and a rapper. Why you don't treat them the same way you treat a mega pastor? They all can receive salvation. They can all repent. And they all can turn to my master. They had to want to and be made aware. But listen, when you look at the world, everyone, right, especially those who are apart from God, I'm talking about genuine Christians, they find pleasure in sin. This is why you look at movies. Like, it's illegal to kill someone. It's illegal to commit adultery. It's illegal to do many things. But you go watch a movie, they're doing all those things. And people find pleasure. Presidents, government, soldiers, police officers. I see cops sometime riding by. They playing rap music. Tripping out the bando. Boop, 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 boop. But then they'll get out and they'll arrest you. So what I'm saying to you is this. That the whole world, like the Bible says, my master word is true, finds pleasure in darkness. It's only God that can rescue from that darkness and bring it to the marvelous light, as Peter said, right? It's only God that can take from becoming a sinner to be a saint. Like, look what I'm speaking to you guys right now. Tell me this. If I tell you this, that when you have lust inside of you and you're dating a man or dating a woman, watch this. Let me ask you this. Let me tell you this. Would you still want to sin after I tell you this? Let me give you this real quick. And those who are watching, please don't leave. Listen to what I'm about to say real quick. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to see where you stand. Right? Listen. If I tell you what repercussions come from lust, I'm not just telling you what comes from sinning and going to hell. Right? That's the later journey. I'm talking about why you're here. Say that you really want to be in love. Say you really want to have somebody that's really going to treat you right. What if I teach you that without y'all going through deliverance, that you'll never truly have happiness? Because both of you have spirits inside of you. Even Brother Ron had to pass through deliverance. Even me, this brother right here, had to go through prayer. And demons had to be casted out of me in order to receive the Holy Spirit. So I'm telling you that if you're with someone, they don't have to be a prostitute or a stripper. But just because darkness is there, you will never truly feel what love truly is. Because the Songs of Solomon is the blueprint for marriage. Read that. And tell me if you're married. Some of y'all been married. I've been married for 20, 30 years. And you have never experienced true love. You have tolerated each other. Y'all had kids. Many of y'all wanted to leave. Many of y'all wanted to cheat. Many of y'all wanted to walk away. Y'all not saying that in those 20 years. Y'all using 20 years as a reward, as a medal. Oh, I've been married for 20 years. But be honest. How many times you had thoughts of committing adultery? How many times you was provoked? How many times you masturbated while you were married? How many times you felt like leaving that person? How many times you complained about that person? Keep it real, right? Now, the Songs of Solomon is the blueprint for a marriage. Many of you women will settle for a man and never, ever experience the love you're supposed to experience because one is not delivered and not truly living for God. I'm telling you, men and women, you'll be like, nobody... You'll say, nobody is this, nobody is that. If a person doesn't pass through those things, they'll never be that person on your worth and your value. A person might see you and say, man, she's a good woman. But they'll never truly see your worth and your value without going through deliverance and truly being born again. I had to go through it. I had a lot of good attributes when I was in the world. But when I got delivered, I knew how to love. I didn't know how to love. I had kids before I met Courtney. I had children before I met Courtney. I never knew how to love them before. But when I got delivered and the demons left me and I got healed, going through that deliverance and that prayer, everything changed. But before, I just had self-control. But it'll still get the best of me. Now, I have the Holy Spirit and I have grace. My master protecting me. Not me, but my master. Right? So, let me give you this. Y'all listening, right? Listen, stay with me. Don't let Satan distract y'all. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. I'm getting to it. God's timing is the best. Watch this. Say you got two men. Say you got a woman and a man, right? Now, say that there's lust inside of you. Lust can make it to where when you're making love to your wife, that she cannot have orgasms. Lust spirits have the ability to make it to where a man's penis won't get erect. You're not listening to me. Come on, brothers, listen to me now. Listen to me now. If I'm not speaking truth, rebuke me then. I only speak for truth. I only want to help. I don't want anything from anybody. I have everything. I have my master. That's all I need. But I want to help y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. And you take it how you take it. It's up to you. If you apply it or you don't apply it. But I'm still going to try to help you because I love you. Listen. Because I receive the same help. Why would I be stingy and keep it to myself? I was given it to give to others. That's love. Love is an intense and deep affection. That's why I get up here. I only get up here when God lets me. Listen. Say that there's lust in both of y'all. Right? Lust, when you first meet that person, you're so head over heels for that person. You're like, man, this is the one. This is the person. Man, this is it. This is it. I love her so much. I love him so much. Then as time goes by, Satan starts amplifying things. Oh, you just always nagging. Oh, things just start changing. Start losing that interest, right? Then you start finding yourself where you're like, there might be somebody else out there. What Satan is doing is he doesn't want you, if you're not married, he doesn't want you to marry. And if you are married, he wants you to get a divorce to make you believe somebody else is out there. But remember, at the end of the day, it's all lust because you're really getting tired of that same person. You don't have patience. You don't have forgiveness. You don't have compassion. So Satan wants you to keep living in sin because marriage symbolizes a righteousness. So he doesn't want anybody to be married. So everything starts off well. And then as time progresses, Satan starts attacking. And you might start if you're not married, you're having sex then. And that's wrong, but you're just being real. Start having sex. So then you find yourself where it's not feeling the same anymore. You're not getting, you're not having the orgasms, or maybe the guy is, having to fantasize about other women when he is having sex with you, or maybe the woman is thinking about previous guys before, or maybe they have to masturbate too. So when you incorporate masturbation, even with fornication, or even with a marriage, I'm gonna go back both in two. So look, this is for marriage couples and unmarried couples, right? When you're incorporating those things, you notice that you have lust, because even when you're making love or you're having sex, you still masturbating, or you still finding yourself being lustful. Now listen, there's a time and place for everything. Don't you know that even being married, you could still have lust? Let me tell you why. The Bible talks about inordinate affection. Did y'all hear me? I know it's a little loud behind me. Let me say it again. Here come a loud truck. Let's wait till he passed by. So the Bible talks about inordinate affection. Go look it up. It's in the Bible. It means to be over sexual. So you see that you even have to have balance in a marriage. You have to have balance in a marriage. You can't just be making love every day and all day long. That's lust, because there's no contentment. Remember, lust is not just sexual. Lust is a lack of contentment, always desiring and craving more. You got to have balance. You can't be having sex in front of the kids and making love in front of the kids and stuff you got to have balance. So listen. So at the end of the day, you got to think about this. Lust will start saying, so we already talked about how lust can make a man penis not erect and make a woman not have orgasms. Lust can do that. You got women that have had sex or made love and never had an orgasm. That's the spirit doing that. God gave you that ability to be able to have that. Just like women will try to have kids and can't have kids. That's Satan doing that. You understand? So the Bible said the fruit of the womb is supposed to be blessed. It's in the Old Testament. So if you're not producing children and you're married, then Satan's behind it. You need God's intervention. Now listen. So then lust will start saying, oh, yeah, this person, it's somebody else out there. Then you'll start finding yourself, but because you got a conscience, you might say, well, like, there's nothing that's really, I can't just do them like that. Let me just try to work it out. That's your conscience speaking. That's the grace. That's the conscience saying like, no, let me just try to work it out and get through this, try to make it better, and different things. And Satan can be doing that as well too, though. So, but that's what I said. These are things that have to be taught to you directly. Things that have to be taught to you over phone conversations or in person, because they give you the understanding. Now listen. So lust will start telling you what I just told you. Then it'll start saying, this person don't respect you. They don't care about you. You can find somebody else that's better, right? So now resentment grows, bitterness grows. Now there's no longer those long phone conversations or those long paragraph messages. How beautiful you are, how much I care about you, how much I love you. Now everything starts decreasing, right? So lust starts saying, this person, all they want to do is just have sex now. There's nothing else. It's just sex. Let's just hold hands. Let's just sit on the couch. Let's just go to a movie. Let's go out. Let's not just have sex all the time, right? Because you're not really finding pleasure. Something that's pleasurable to you, you're not going to turn it down. So it's not as pleasurable no more because lust is doing that. And other demons that's involved in you doing the same thing as well. They all working together. Anxiety's working, lust is working, pride is working, whatever's inside you, they're all working together. So you start saying, well, I just want to just spend some time, and then the guy's like, well, if I don't get it, then who I'm going to get it? I got to get it from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So then, the guy might, got some self-control, so he start watching pornography. So then you start seeing adultery takes place, and then different things start place, and they break up. That's just really what it is. It's true because when you see people break up, they're right back dating again, somebody else. How can you have that much love for somebody and then you're dating again that fast? It never was love. It's lust. And because God made women and men to be together, it's our God-given nature. But you call it love. Anything. You got people that meet a person for 1 or 2 days and say, look, I love this person. You don't know their mental state or their spiritual state. You say you love them. A person could be a serial killer. And you say you love them. A person could be a child molester. You say I love you. You love a child. someone that's taking advantage of a child. You fall in love with them the first day or two. Come on, love them as a person, but love them in a relationship. That's a different story. So just think about it, sisters. So lust is powerful. That's what I'm telling you. So then pride will tell you, oh, don't apologize. They don't know the worth that you have. You got a car, you got a job, you make good money. You ain't got to, suck up to them. That's pride telling you that, because you're not being humble. Because if we know that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, you know Satan is behind it. But see, when y'all both pass through deliverance and the demons are cast out of both of y'all, guess what you got now? Grace with you, and now your temple is empty. There's no darkness provoking you or convincing you, because demons work with thoughts in your mind. That's like, let's talk about unforgiveness. A person could have wronged you, right? And you could be around them, in the future, and you think you have forgiven them because you learn how to function around them. But soon as something that triggered, something that caused unforgiveness in the first place is relatable, brought up, something that's relatable. Like, just say a person might have called you fat or something, right? Your boyfriend or your husband called you fat, like just talking 5 years ago. You say you forgive him for that. But then you find yourself in a conversation, you might say, well, I just felt like you gained a little weight. And next thing you know, the unforgiveness comes right back up. Now you got resentment and bitterness. You see how it works? So this is why deliverance is so important, because demons amplify everything. They amplify everything. They make you more emotional than what you really are. They make you more angry than what you are. They make you more lustful than what you... they just do everything, right? Once they're in there. Till you get past the deliverance. That's all I'm trying to tell you. So that's why I'm saying religions don't have anything. These other religions don't have anything to offer. When you go into a church, hearing a pastor preach. But this is the thing about it, brothers and sisters. I would never settle with going to these churches and just hearing a man just speak without seeing power. Because if you say you know Jesus, you know that whenever he walked this earth, even the apostles, it was power. Church was like an exciting time back in those days. They were seeing deliverances, miracles. Your faith was increasing every day. It gave you something to believe in. It gave you a reason to want to fight against temptation. It gave you a reason to want to do right. Because you're sitting here watching your power. You're sitting here watching your God's power perform all these miracle signs and wonders in these living churches back in the Bible days. It gives you a reason. But you go to church today, you're Goliath that you're going to face. You're going to take that rock and you're going to fight that Goliath. And then you're not going to pay any more bills for the rest of the year. And God's going to bless you. We got to just be praying and got fast and just do this and do that. There's nothing that's inspiring you. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Look at the gifts that God gave to the church. Tell me if you would see those gifts in church every Sunday. Man, the world would be flocking to that church. The world has always flocked when the miracle signs and wonders took place on this earth, because everyone's in need that's apart from God. Everyone. If there's a true man of God, the world will be flocking to that person. Even if they don't want to believe in Jesus Christ or not, because they all need relief. That's the truth. They did it with Jesus. How many people received the Holy Spirit? 120. How many got prayed for by Jesus? Millions. How many waited for the promise? Only 120. Come on, brothers and sisters. So he's showing you the blueprint. Jesus Christ came out of nowhere. Nobody knew of him. He wasn't brought up by the Pharisees or Sadducees. He didn't have a reputation, but God exalted him. And they put him on people's heart, and they came to him to receive from God, to show that God was who he say he is. So if these true men of God are here, people will be flocking. They'll be coming. Your church, you got the same people coming every Sunday and doing the same thing every Sunday, going home with the same problems. They go to church taking inhalers while they're in church. They in church taking blood pressure medicine. They in church got diabetes and arthritis and got masks on in church now. This is the church that became a circus and a zoo. You want to go to the zoo? Don't go whatever state. What city and state y'all in? Don't go to the animal zoo. Go to the zoo at the churches. You want to see some lions and tigers? You want to see some bears do flips on a ball? You want to see people swing from some ropes and do flips in the air? You want to see a clown jump through a flaming fire little ring thing? Go to these religious churches. It's a circus and a zoo. They're trying to create spiritual, but it's not. So listen, this is where I'm gonna leave it at. I will never ever tolerate anything from Muslims, 5%ers, anything because they don't have anything to offer me in amongst of a wicked and perverse world. All that psychological tactics and telling me, you know, you got to do good. I knew it before and it still didn't do anything. But when I went through deliverance, that darkness that was helping me to do wrong was gone. So then I was free to be able to learn and grow spiritually and righteously. All them voices that was in my head, those negative thoughts, those evil thoughts, those lustful dreams, having sex in my dreams, all that stuff left me. No more provoked temptation in those areas. It was gone. No more hate and anger. It was gone. No, I haven't fought a person in over 10 years. It's gone. I used to fight every day. Look at my knuckles. All my knuckles. Look at my knuckles. My knuckles even got NyQuil on them. Look at this knuckle. It got NyQuil. Look at all my knuckles. They all beat up. I used to fight for 10 years. I used to fight since I was 14 years old. Look at all my knuckles. All beat up from teeth marks. Different things like that. Right? I haven't fought a person. I don't want to fight a person. If it's somebody getting hurt, I'll start crying. I love people because God did that. You see? So they don't have anything to offer me. You're going to be in the doctor's office. You're going to be taking medicine the same way unbelievers taking medicine. But you feel you better than that person. Everyone that's in different religions feel they're better than the next person. They do. Right? But see, as a true Christian, we don't think we're better than anybody. Because we know it's only by grace and mercy that we are. We know it ain't nothing that we done. It was by mercy, grace. But see, other religions, they feel they're better. That's why they dress a certain way. That's why they look a certain way. That's why they act a certain way. Because they feel that they're better than other people. That's why they go to those extents to wear those outfits and clothes. Brother Ronald dressed like a regular person. That's it. That's it. What does a pastor look like? I'm a preacher. I'm a minister of God. You wouldn't know until you talk to me. Right? I'm just living for Jesus. But in those religions, they don't have anything to offer. They can go through everything that the world is going through. But they still feel like their God is God. But as a believer, a genuine believer, we ain't going through nothing what the world go through. Let me tell you this. In a little while, there's great trouble coming to this earth. Great trouble. I'm talking about trouble coming to this earth. And those who are apart from my master are going to be affected. Those who are with my master are going to be protected. There's great trouble coming to this nation, coming to this earth. Like never before. You'll see. So all I'm telling you is this. Those religions don't have anything to offer. No savior, no salvation. Come back reincarnated. Just tricks in their mind to get them comfort. But remember, most don't believe in Jesus or God or want to serve him because they find what, brothers and sisters? What did we learn today? They find pleasure in sin. And nobody wants to live with having to know they're going to perish. Did y'all hear me? No one wants to live what happened to know that they're going to perish. So they make themselves believe in different things contrary to my master's word. That's the reality. If you ask people what their real problem with Christianity is righteous. That's really, really it is. Oh, King James, like he's a publisher. It's not an author. It's two different things between the publisher and the author. He just made sure by using his rule and his power that we got the Bible that we have today. The same words that Brother Ron is speaking to you, King James was used to translate that from those languages to English. That's all. Because a king word was law back in those days. They said it had to be done. Or off with your head. That's how it would have been. And they did it. You understand? And God was behind it. That's all King James did. Give us the authentic word of God that we have today. That's all. That's the only reason why we got... King James was a publisher. He wasn't an author. It's his difference. If he was homosexual, then guess what? You know he didn't write the Bible. If he was a person that slaved people, then guess what? He didn't write the Bible. You understand, brothers and sisters? He was just used. It was used. So in religion, they don't have anything to offer. These different religions don't have anything to offer. They're believing they're believing in delusion about these false gods. The only true God is God. The only true Savior is Jesus Christ. Apart from it, there is no way to God. I don't care what they believe. Jesus is Lord. You better know that. The same one that made that sun and made that moon and made it rise every day perfectly. That's who I'm serving. So if he's able to keep that and perfect that, he can do that for my health, my mind, my body, everything. That's who I'm serving. A God that has something to give and offer. A God that can promise and protect and provide the same way he done with this world. He make that sunrise and set every day. His word is true. So these other religions, I can't be persuaded. I don't want to hear it. I don't hear nothing about no Allah. I don't hear nothing about no Buddha. I don't hear nothing about no Hinduism. I don't hear nothing about none of that stuff. Because they ain't got nothing to offer. They just blowing smoke. Right? But my God that controls this world is powerful. He's perfect. And that's who I want to serve. It's something to offer. He don't just make me believe, go and pray and do this and do that, and like making myself believe that I'm changed. But behind closed doors, behind those outfits, behind those readings, those teachings, behind all those different things, you're the same person. You just exercising self-control. You ain't born again. You ain't changed. You find pleasure in the same thing the world find pleasure in, but you feel that you're different. You watch the same movies that the world watch. Listen to the same stuff the world listen to. You find pleasure in the same thing the world find pleasure in, but you feel that your religion is the right religion. You're deceived. But as a Christian, we're told to be righteous and to be holy and be separated from the world. That's the difference. Other religions and partake in the world. You'll see people that believe in all type of things. They'll sell stuff, fake Gucci bag, fake Louis this, fake this and that. They be involved in all type of things. Bets, gambling, watching boxing matches, fighting, violence, UFC, all type of stuff. But they claiming that their God is the true God. And they're living unrighteously. But being deceived and tricked that they're living righteously. But doing the same thing the rest of the world is doing. So I can't be persuaded. I don't care what leader, what person has a reputation, a status in the eyes of the world. I will not be moved. Can't move me. I know who I serve. I had high blood pressure one time. I had racing thoughts. I used to hear a voice. I used to have suicidal thoughts. I was depressed. I was drinking all the time. I was doing drugs. I was affected. I got a touch from a man of God. And after that, my life has never been the same. And God filled me with his spirit shortly after that. So after my deliverance, I got filled with the spirit. And my life has never been the same. I don't look down on anybody. I love everybody. I'll give my life for anybody. But one thing I won't tolerate is unrighteousness. Because I know the wickedness that comes behind it. I know what it does. I know what it did to me. So that's why my stand is that way. We deserve, God deserves to be worshipped. Look what he created. He gave us life. Don't you know there's people that hasn't been created in this world? Are y'all hearing me? There are people that will never, ever be a people in this world. You understand? They'll never have a chance to receive salvation. They'll never have a chance to marry. You have an opportunity and a chance. And you want to look at God in a bad light. He created this beautiful world. Gave us all this delicious food to eat. Honey, chicken, fish, beef, pigs, whatever. He gave it to us. All different fruit, apples, oranges, watermelon, grapes. Worship him. Glorify him. Thank him. So that's talking about I believe in a higher power. Ain't no other book talk about that higher power but the Bible. Get rid of that sin. Get rid of that unrighteousness. And allow God to be God in your life. And your life will change forever. You want to know what love feels like? Give it over to God. You want to know what happiness feels like? Give it over to God. You want to know what peace feels like? Give it over to God. And you will see why Brother Ronald is out of his mind for God. I love you all. God bless you all. Peace be to you all.